This is about the way of thinking of business as a system. And to scale a business is a different path than creating a freedom business. It requires different foundational elements. Out in the marketplace, you hear people talking about scaling is like scale's the holy grail. You need to grow a $10 million business because then you'll be worth something and then you'll feel successful and then people will like you. Or I remember actually Aston had a test at school once or something, a thing for his business studies, and it said something like, get a job to earn money so you can buy friends. And I was like, are you for real? It literally said it, and he showed me the thing. It's like, what the hell? That's great lessons for our kids, isn't it? Obviously that person's never been in business. It's funny how a teacher can teach business. Right? And the former principal, had been principal for 5 or 6 years, I think. He's been running Aston's Year 10 business studies class, and I went and actually I did an hour with his business studies class. And afterwards, he's like, oh, wow, that's really amazing stuff. And it's like, because I looked at the curriculum, it's so irrelevant and boring. It's like, what you should do is get someone like me in more often and actually teach them how to do business, because then they'll pop out of school, not go to university, waste their time and build up a big debt, but actually get out there and do something, get out there and create a business at a much younger age. So what is business as a system? Well, it is a way of thinking. It's not something you do. It's something as an investor we need to think about how we do that. And so that it's like building an engine. And having that engine, you think the old school engines, you have to wind them up with the handle, right? Back in the early 1900s or wherever they were. You have to wind them up with the handle to get them going. And often they'd have to wind them for ages to actually get them, and they finally start going, and then, it starts to run on its own. This is the journey we are as business owners, is if we're still there winding the handle, it gets pretty tiring, doesn't it? It's that same thing I talk about, stop cutting trees down with a butter knife because it's slow, it gives you blisters, and they always bend, and it's hard work. It's pick up the bloody chainsaw and start chopping it down. And then once you've mastered the chainsaw, grab the keys to the bulldozer behind the shed that takes 5 trees down at a time, right? That's the journey here. We need to continue to evolve ourselves as the accelerator in our businesses and our lives, because this isn't about your business. Because what does creating a freedom business do for you? Whatever you want. What else? Opportunity? Freedom? What does freedom mean? Choice? That's right. We're not actually building a freedom. Freedom business is the vehicle. What we're doing is creating freedom for you to create choice in your life. Who's a little scared of getting to the point where you actually have choice but don't know what to do next? Right? I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, so still in that category a little bit. But one of the things that often is difficult to approach is actually getting to that point where you don't know what you need to do, you can do next, or don't know what you should do next, because you've actually got yourself to that point where the business is running more without you. You're like, I feel like a bit of a fifth wheel here. What's going on, right? You're like, okay, I don't know what's happening. Like, what should I do? This is an identity piece, and we're going to talk to that as well. And I've known plenty of people that have incredible systems in their business, but they still have a shit business, right? The business still isn't running properly. It's systemized. They've got all of, checklists, and this happens and when that happens, and everything's like really to the point of, very detailed in their systemization. But they're still not thinking about the business the right way. They're still stuck in it. They're still in it day to day. They're still being pulled in on the tools and all those sorts of things. Yes, the whole thing's systemized, but it's not about the systems. Again, it's about being the leader. Most of you have heard me talk about this too, is the six stages of business. The first one is a hobby. 2 is a startup. 3 is the business doer. 4 is the business owner. 5 is the business model. And 6 is investor mindset. This is the goal. Now, when I don't know, there's too many members that have joined IC that have started anywhere different to being generally in the stage 3, the business doer stage, right? Moving to business owner and moving to the business model at the same time. Because you can move to both. You can move from here to here and from here to here at the same time. That's often what's happening. But the problem is we're still thinking like a business doer. We're trying to think ourselves up, trying to think ourselves from inside the business and think our way forward, right? So it's like being in a jungle and with a machete and just hacking your way through that part of the jungle, right? All you can see is the bit that's right in your vicinity. You can't see the entire jungle. what the goal is of thinking business as a system is you're in the helicopter, right, at the top there. I'm sure Dougie's proud of me. It looks like a good helicopter, Dougie, online. Yep, got the thumbs up. There we go, perfect. What we want to do is we want to actually be thinking this way, right? Thinking from here and looking over the business and making those decisions from here, even if we're still stuck in here on the tools a bit and things like that. We're actually thinking from this place, right? And making decisions from this place. Does that make sense? And the thing is, you have to invest the time. So you need to be able to get your time back. The whole reason why we do the freedom metric is how else can you get back 30 minutes a week, an hour a week? Right? One of my favourite calculations is 10 minutes a day saved is 1 business week a year. If you don't believe me, you can do it on a calculator. It's about 40-something hours, right? 40 hours or something. But it's 1 business week a year. Who, if they were more effective and efficient, could save 10 minutes a day? Hands up. 10 minutes or more. Hands up. 10 minutes or more. Everyone's hand should be up. If you can't, you're in the wrong room, right? 10 minutes or more. What about 20? 20 or more? Keep your hand up. 30 or more. More efficient, more effective. What about an hour? Who could save an hour a day? Yep. And I can keep going because ultimately the goal is to get you to a point where you don't have to be doing this stuff in the business at all. We're focusing our attention on the things that are worth $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 or $5,000 an hour. Because, and we've talked about this at previous events, is what's the number one resource that we have that we can't make more of? And that's not actually correct. Wrong answer. You all failed. All those of you, it's attention. It's not time. Elon Musk has the same amount of time in the day as you and I, doesn't he? Right? As we know, he's built 4 multi-billion-dollar businesses and bought another one and completely screwed it up on purpose, and it'll be worth more later because he's like a chess player that plays 50 moves ahead of everyone else, seems to know what's going on, right? He's got the same amount of time, doesn't he? What do you think his attention value per hour is? It'd be in the millions per hour, right? So what the hell's our excuse? We just don't know how. That's the thing. Or we've got stories or belief systems blocking us from making that change, from stepping into something more. So if someone can do it at that level, surely we can do it to the level that matches our freedom number, right, and our freedom metric, or freedom money and our freedom metric, right? We can get it to that point where we've got the time, we've got the money, and now we can make those choices. Because there's a lot of people that I know that have actually created that, and then they actually they start to lose themselves. Once they get to the point of having that freedom business, they literally are like, well, what the hell do I do now? Like they get lost. You know, and it's something that is very important that we make sure we continue to have meaning beyond the business, you know, and meaning from within ourselves. Who am I as an investor first? The business is just one of my investments, and start treating it like as if you'd bought CBA shares. You don't sit there all day watching the go up 0.2% here and there, and do you? Like we do in our businesses. We've got to get the business to a point where we're not actually so enmeshed with it. It literally just becomes one of those vehicles. And yes, we need to get involved and lean in and lean out. I've had businesses in Sydney now that run under management for 12 years. Now, I've got an incredible manager there, Michelle, who's worked with us for 16 years in that bit, running those businesses. And I invest about 10 minutes a month on reviewing the financials, and that's it. I don't do anything else in that business. Last time she moved the whole office to another office. Last time I went there again with the kids, went up to have a look at the office because I can't get him. I have to look through the thing, and the kids are like, "Well, how come?" I'm like, "I don't have a key." You don't have a key to your own office? Like, well, I don't live in Sydney. I live in Noosa, and they moved, so I'm assuming it's a different key. No one's ever sent me a key. I don't need the office. I don't need to go in there, right? That's the point, is creating a business that runs without you, that has enough systemization, the approach that you take, and putting key team in and supporting those key team to be able to manage your investments for you. All right? Clearly, if Michelle made the decision to leave, we would need to make a decision to, okay, what do we do now? What do I need to do now? We need to either hire somebody else. Do I exit this business and sell it to somebody else because it's something that's it's sort of low touch, but you know, can I take that capital and put it somewhere else? Start to think like an investor. So this is the thing, right? We're looking at the business as an automated engine that's running on its own. This is something that runs without us. We don't have to get involved. So One of the things that I love about business as a system is it equals leverage. And it was Archimedes that said, give me a lever long enough and a fulcrum on which to place it, and I shall move the world. Right? That's how someone like Elon Musk can create what he creates, because he's using leverage of his time. And he's using leverage at an exponential level to what we are. Right? Do you think he sits there worrying about, I can't find good people? Do you think he worries about that? Right? He probably did at one point early on in his career, but we've got to get to that point where, okay, if somebody leaves, yes, it may be a challenge, or it may slow things down, or our numbers may suffer that month. But we need to have the business running as a system to help replace that person quickly with the right type of people. And I'm going to talk to the 8 pillars individually as I go through and talk to them as well. But it is a system, right? And the system of leverage. It's leveraging the number one asset in your business is what? No, in the business. What's the number one asset in the business? Yourself. That's right. And we only just started to play this game and he's already getting the answers right. Thanks, Shane. Jed's probably been in here a little bit. But so it's us, right? We're the ones that we need to leverage. Okay, so then what happens when you've got key team, as your business grows and you've got more team members? You need to also have them have the capability of creating leverage for their roles. You need to lift their value from $50 an hour to 100 to 200 to 500 as well, because that starts to exponentially grow the value of your business, and it starts to pull you out of what you thought were strategic items, but are now not strategic items because your team are now doing it. Just that you've got higher caliber team who are more trained, who it's more, you've got it running without you. Okay, and what I love about a scaled and leveraged business means that the more scaled, the more leverage it is, the more valuable it is. Because for most of us in this room here and online, our business will be if not the highest value, it'll be one of the highest value assets we ever create in our life. So one of the things that we forget about often in the small business situation is like, let's just look at profitability and the time bit. Great. But if you've got a freedom business that runs without you, that you could sell to somebody else tomorrow because it runs as business as a system, and someone could just literally buy it and just have it running, an independent engine, your multiple of profit, the value of that business will be much higher. So the whole point of this too is not only just to create a freedom business, it's creating an incredibly valuable asset for you and to help you build and create your own legacy for yourself, your family, or whatever it is, whatever's important to you. Right? So make sure you associate that, because it's not just, yes, the profitability goes up. The more that goes up and the more that it's a system, it increases the value, right? A lot. So you could go from having a business at the moment where you're kind of stuck in it a bit and you're sort of in and out of it, and you might get a 2.5 times multiple for it. You create it as a business, as a system. You do the strategies that we suggest to get the profitability up. You probably find that you sell it for 4 plus. Same business, probably up to twice the value, but you've structured it in a way deliberately to have the highest value, and the highest value is when it runs on its own without the owner. Because if I'm buying your business, Amber, and you're in it, I have to buy you too. And that's the problem. That's high risk, because something can happen to you. And it often does. You buy a business that has the owner in it, and it's not theirs anymore. They kind of lose interest. Doesn't matter how much you legally obligate them to stuff. One way to incentivize them is not pay them all the money, of course. They've still got to hit certain results. But the point is that if it's your business and you're not in it, it's going to be a higher value.